Hey everybody, this is Dark Guardsman and we're back with another video here. So I haven't done a video in a couple days here. I've got some recorded, but I don't think I'm actually going to upload them. So they're of kind of the progress of making this game. I know I've uploaded a couple videos kind of showing it off already, but there's quite a few videos of just being made. There's also tons of videos I've recorded of just testing Loom Dare games. I might pick a few of those and upload them because there's a lot of them. I've rated some 80 games now. So yeah. Anyways, we're going to get into this one. So I want to just kind of show off some of the improvement and progress this game's kind of made since I did the release on it for the Loom Dare, which I still don't think I'm pronouncing that word right. But I've kind of improved control handling. I've improved movement speed. Movement speed's a lot smoother. You accelerate a lot quicker than you kind of did previously. You still kind of get a floaty movement, which is a few people kind of complain about, is that the movement doesn't feel good. I don't know if I'm going to fix that because you're meant to be in space, you're actually meant to have that floaty movement, etc, etc. I have dropped the playfield down to a quarter of its size. We're now at 125 by 125 instead of the 250 by 250. This has made it a little bit harder to survive. You notice I'm basically taking damage here. I've dropped the player health from 100 down to 20. This actually does mean it is possible to die now real easily. You can no longer go outside the world. This is something I actually changed before the release though, but a couple of videos I did show you could die outside of the play range. Nothing's really happened with the scrap and everything. The focus has pretty much been on the UI and movement so far. With the UIs, the option menu's got a little bit more detail. You can now change your movement style and how you want to aim your ship as well, and of course you can turn off various things just like you could previously. I have now added an apply and save. I know Lim ADC was complaining that when you hit the save, he was expecting the GUI to close. That now actually works that way. Apply now just applies all the settings and everything else. I don't know if I'm going to keep these buttons exactly where they are. They don't look quite right down there. There is now a reset to default, which will actually reset all the settings. If I click reset, you can see it actually does change all this. This does save when it resets. That's reason it's colored red and it's up in the corner, is to know that that is not something you can change back. Let me go ahead and change my size of my arrows back down. Info screen hasn't done any improvements to it. Nothing else really in here has had any changes or improvements. The only thing we've got now is you can switch your movement style, which now defaults to basically W as forward in relative to the ship. So now these are ship relative controls. So if I go this way, it actually is much smoother depending on your gameplay style. I still like screen orientation myself personally. But W and S will now do your thruster movement, and A and D will now strafe left and right, so you've got that there. You still have to pretty much right click to grab scrap and everything else. What I am going to be doing though is adding a keybind on the keyboard for grabbing scrap here that's separate. I think I might already have one, but you guys get the point when it comes to that. R is still release, everything else like that. You still release, you still grab points. I have changed this to be credits up here. What is going to inevitably end up happening with this game is the scrap you collect will actually matter to some extent. So when you pick up a piece of big metal iron plate, you're going to get maybe aluminum or iron plate or copper plate. So you'll have to start looking for different types of metals, which will have different values for being sold, but you won't be able to directly convert to money by just dropping stuff off. So what you'll do is you'll drop scrap off. Scrap will be dropped off into the same bin here. You might be able to make more bins for dropping stuff off. You'll have that stored. With the stored scrap, you can then decide, hey, I want to sell this or I want to craft something with it. There'll be two options when it comes to this. You'll be able to craft things. You'll also be able to buy things. So if you just want to sell everything, you can go do that. You'll be able to get structures though. Structures will probably be built because trying to get buy a structure and place it probably won't be it's a thing lore-wise. It'll fit very well. Also with this, because you saw the other option here, we also can turn off the mouse-based control. So now we no longer do this. Unfortunately, by the way, when you do save, it does mess with the camera. We fixed that. But you can now rotate the ship using the Q and E key. I may make these actually on by default even when the mouse is turned on and off. But you can move, and this allows you to pretty much play the game with keyboard only. With the reassignable keys and everything else, this actually means you could technically hook this up to any type of gamepad or control system. So it's actually an accessibility feature, although it was unintended that way. It does work very well. So you can fly around, rotate. This is where I was talking about I want to get another key for grabbing stuff, is that effectively you could play the entire game from just your keyboard. And it's placed pretty nice. So Zoom level. There wouldn't be anything on the keyboard zoom level wire that would work really well, because unfortunately for some reason the plus and minus keys don't work perfectly. You can kind of do it. Page up and down do work, so if you want to do that you can actually go up and down with that. It's not very smooth though, because you can tell it doesn't really alert forward and backwards. I may actually add camera lerping to that, because it is kind of not very good. You can't get down to a really small size though. We also, this is probably as quickly as noticed, but the background now is stationary, so you get a much better sense of movement. I will be adding, of course, particle effects that actually move with you back and forth to give you another sense of motion as well, so you have like kind of like a streaking particle system. There'll probably be a few other things as well to kind of give a better sense of motion, but I just wanted to get a quick update to show kind of what's going on and kind of have everything's improved. Moving forward, the big things to focus on is, of course, getting the UIs to be much nicer. I want to get the option menu to be really good and crisp. This is definitely just a prototype option menu. We're going to probably go to something you see in most games, which are just going to be tabs, and each tab is going to have stuff in it. I'm going to keep this nice colorization though, because I really like to colorize things. It makes it very easy to navigate the menu. Of course, we're going to get keybinds, controls, resolution settings in here at some point. That's going to happen eventually. Info menu is going to probably be the one that's going to hit with the most overhauls. I want to get this down to almost like a encyclopedia type thing, where you have tabs on the side with each category, so you like how to shoot, what you should be shooting, how to collect items, what scrap is ideal to collect, what stuff you can't collect, how the weight mechanics work, how you release scrap, how you pick up scrap, how the navigation system works, structures, everything. So I'm going to get a really nice instructional guide that goes through every single thing in detail. Really nicely built out, including probably 2 pages just dedicated to the backstory and the goal set up for the primary game. We're also probably going to be adding a campaign that'll probably go through all this as well, that'll explain all the mechanics to you as well, also show you how to upgrade, buy things, how to build stuff, and stuff like that as we go. That's probably not going to be hit into the first release of this, as I do plan to release this rather soon on itch.io and probably a few other sites, just to start getting some momentum going forward, as I know this game will take a while to probably pick up to anything it's even considered even noticed, because I know I'm not going to sell a lot of copies of this game, so I'm not too worried about that, to be honest. But we'll keep working on this, because it's something. It's actually a playable game. It just needs more content. We need more stuff, probably need better textures, a few more bits of polish here and there, and it'll go from something to a possible game. Will be the next step. It's something that we just considered a actual game. Anyways, that's all I've got here. Just want to do a quick update, and I'll see you guys a bit later here.